Welcome into the Legislative Lounge. This is episode 22. Bringing it to you is your host, Natebige and Professor Mike. We want to welcome y'all in as Professor Mike unmutes himself. Give a shout out to the crowd.
I got some technical difficulties like we did on Saturday. I was running in here with my coffee, but
I
yeah,
know. Kind of
it's
close.
it's been a great time. I can't believe we're already on episode 22. We got a lot of things to cover. Quite a bit of fraud, waste, and abuse. Some bills that maybe Nate hasn't seen yet. Some that are quite
Ooh.
comical that I think the House is just trolling, or I hope is trolling. Um, and may I just say, as far as trolling goes. I think Elon has surpassed Donald Trump.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, at this point, it's hard to say he hasn't.
'Cause, I don't know if you saw it, but there was a post that he made, which he posts, like, every hour, maybe twice, multiple times every hour. He said,
Hmm.
if I'm ever involved in a scheme, make sure they nickname it Elongate."
Yes. Oh my God. This man he has no chill, and I love every second of it.
Was there anything you wanted to go over before I get into my list?
Now let's just hop right in. What do you got?
Alright. So, at this point, I'm sure everybody knows that Donald Trump has talked about getting rid of the Department of Education. Well, in Congress, Representative Thomas Massey out of Kentucky has
Love him.
introduced HR 899, which is to terminate the Department of Education.
Hey, tell
That
me,
was in
Matt. Tell
that
me
was
he be coming in hot with all these pieces of legislation. I really like that man.
oh yeah. No
I was
text has been released yet.
I was kind of hoping he'd take the Senate position there in Ohio. So, because he's out of Ohio, right? I believe so.
Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky. Maybe he can take over.
Yeah.
Psycho Mitch McConnell when he's done.
To be psycho, you have to be alive.
This is true. That's true.
That dude.
I mean, speaking of Mitch McConnell, though, like we'll get into that bill here in a minute. But to kind of recap what's happened over the last week, a lot of people already know. Tulsi Gabbard, and RFK both confirmed by what I predicted of 52 votes to 48, with the sole Republican being Mitch McConnell. It's
Yep.
it's amazing that an individual who was literally on life support, it seems like, is able to vote in our congressional, establishment or whatever.
Um, so we have House Resolution 899, which is to terminate the Department of Education. No text has been released yet because it was just introduced January 31st of this year.
Mhm.
Um, so then we have HR 722, introduced by Eric Burleson. Um, I think he's out of, I can't remember. But this one is to implement equal protection under the 14th Amendment of the Constitution for the right to life of each person born and uh, right to life of each born and preborn human being. So this is a very pro-life House resolution, pro-life bill.
Absolutely. I did hear about that one. I'm interested to read that a little bit further,
Hmm.
just because of the preborn position of it. So
Yeah.
once that becomes available, we'll obviously have that guy. We'll have that text for you guys and our analysis of it.
Um, then we have, I don't know if you heard of this one, HR 86 to abolish OSHA.
I was actually, I was diving on Congress.gov looking at the top 10 viewed, right? And I
Hmm.
saw that on there. I was like, I don't know how I feel about it,
I
honestly.
don't I don't know how I feel about it.
Because I'm like, OSHA, because a lot of what I do in my day job has to do with individuals interacting with OSHA and making it safe, to work safe. But I mean, I know there's a lot of issues with OSHA, but I don't know if I agree with abolishing it,
So this was introduced by Andy Biggs, a representative out of my state of Arizona,
which I
and
really like, Andy.
yeah, um, so it was referred to the House committee.
Mm.
So it passed the introductory stage, and it is now at the House Committee for further consideration. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. Obviously,
Is it
there could be reform to it.
for sure? Absolutely. Excuse me. Is the text has it been released yet or no?
The text literally says to abolish OSHA.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't see. I can't get behind that.
hmm
I just can't because there's so much good that comes out of OSHA that protects workers at every level that is
Yeah.
involved with it. So
So
yeah,
I think going forward, until I see a revised text after
yeah,
the committee, I'm gonna have to disagree with Mr. Biggs on this one.
which is weird because I don't think I've ever seen anything from Andy Biggs that I've disagreed with, but this would be the first.
Uh, he's got some uh, he's got some abortion related uh bills coming out that I find the language to be a little interesting, and
Ambiguous.
yeah, I don't like ambiguous language in bills.
Well, yeah. I
Um,
know you're. I mean, I know you're a no exceptions guy. So I mean, does it have to do something like that?
so the language is too vague. So, um, I want I want it to be clear, cut, and concise when it comes to our legislation, whether it's Democrat or Republican, whether I agree with it or disagree with it. I don't want anybody to be able to interpret something that it's not doing.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. Excuse me, I don't know why I have this frog in my throat. It's annoying as sin. Is
Now you may have seen this one. This one made me laugh because I can't believe it was it's a thing. HR 1161.
that the one out of Mississippi?
No, this is
Oh, okay.
introduced out of Georgia by Earl Carter. It's to authorize the president to enter into negotiations to acquire Greenland and rename Greenland as Red, White, and Blue Land.
Bro, I swear, sometimes they be introducing bills that just are just to piss off the liberals.
Yes.
Really, honestly, like, come on, like that just seems like one of those things where it's not real. Like
Uh,
it ain't gonna go nowhere.
no, it's not, but that's why I put it on this list because it's hilarious. Um, Now this one, Senate Bill 6. I actually like this one. This was I forgot to put who introduced it, but it's the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act. This bill establishes requirements for the degree of care a healthcare practitioner must provide in the case of a child born alive following abortion or attempted abortion. And
Mm.
so,
Hmm.
and in this instance, if an individual intentionally kills or attempts to kill a child born alive, they are subject to prosecution for murder. So there are, for those of you that don't know, there are literally thousands of cases of people born alive. There's actually thousands of survivors of abortion procedures, and if you haven't looked into it, look into their stories. They're quite they're not for the faint of heart.
No, it's actually quite vile and
So
disturbing in a lot of ways
as
because
far
I've seen 'em.
yeah, as far as bills go, like that, those were the most interesting ones. We had
Oh,
over last week we had Pete Hegseth rename Fort Liberty back to Fort Bragg like it should be.
okay.
We had the confirmation of Tulsi Gabbard and RFK.
I don't know if we've
Uh,
mentioned it on here before, but I know on Saturday we talked a little bit about it, but we'll talk about it again. Um, at a state level, we're having some interesting, is how I'll word it, interesting in bills coming out of Mississippi and Ohio. Mike, you want to dive into that?
oh, oh my
You know what
goodness.
I'm talking about.
So I think I have it over here. That would be I didn't want to be.
See, we can let it fly on here though.
Yeah, we can. Well, anyways, I know it by heart. Never mind. So, it's Senate Bill 2319 out of Mississippi. And there's also a copy of that same bill being introduced in Ohio. It's basically going after men, um, and charging them with a crime of impregnating a woman without or having sex with a woman and without the intention of getting her pregnant. But the language of the bill is quite interesting. It says discharging genetic material without the intent to fertilize an embryo. Now, if any of you remember ninth grade biology, an
Uh,
embryo is the beginning stage of human life. That that is already an individual. You can't fertilize an embryo. So
but they want us to take them serious. That's the problem that I have. Is they just say the most outrageous things that is backed up or is shot down, I should say, by basic high school information, and they want us to take them serious though. Like it's just,
but it's like the woman out of Ohio that is introduced in the same bill is a OBGYN.
oh my lord, you got to be kidding me.
No. Well, like, and I'm not the smartest guy by far. Like, I am not the most intelligent. All I do is read. So, and when it comes to biology, it's simple. You know, you have
And I mean,
two sets of cells that combine and they make an embryo.
even going down further down this path of like just the most outrageous things that we're hearing coming from individuals in on all sides of the left, it just seems like it's a repeated pattern that every week we have more and more just of the most nonsensical things that you can think of. From people saying the most outrageous items to pulling forth or pulling in individuals that shouldn't be doing particular jobs or adhering to things, and it just completely debases their entire grounds of making us want to trust them in any way. Like I'll give you a couple examples here. I'm pulling them up now. Like for instance, we had an individual that went before Congress, right? And he was given before a House committee and was testifying to the fact that he hasn't seen anything in regards to mishandling or misuse of foreign aid packages or money, right? But the
Mr.
problem
Dillon,
is the problem is this man can't see nothing. The motherfucker's blind. And they want us to take us serious. Like the level of incompetence that you have to like really bring forth somebody like I'm not going after this guy at all. Like don't get me wrong. I'm not an ableist. I feel for the guy. Like for him to be a witness saying that he hasn't seen any misusing or mishandling, like think about this. Think about this. You have to translate all of the information into braille for him to even quote unquote see it, right? To read it. But even in that transition, he can't even confirm whether or not it's being translated correctly. Right?
hmm
And even if you have some kind of talk to text type algorithm or whatever in the computer to show this information, we can't tell that it's accurately displaying it as well because he can't see it.
100%. Like,
Mike.
like you're the director and you're in charge of oversight as it pertains to government fraud, waste, and abuse. There are very easy examples of the government committing wasteful spending, and this guy's been there for several years and hasn't found any.
Well, I mean, it's just it's more and more from the left that they're just saying things that not only just showing things like this, but also to move in another direction to give proof to what we're saying. They're also claiming things that just are demonstrably false. And thank God Republicans on the House are starting to call them out. Like on the Senate floor, to be exact, we had a senator call out Mitch McConnell, or not Mitch McConnell, Senator Schumer in some of his claims in regards to the economy being Trump's fault and all this other stuff. So let's just take a look at that real quick.
That Senator Schumer is complaining about is from the final days of the Joe Biden administration. Those are the numbers that are out today. The final days of the Biden administration. And certainly everyone in Wyoming and everyone in your home state in Oklahoma knows that under the Biden administration and the Democrats, prices of goods and groceries, gasoline, the things that we need in our everyday life, prices rose more than 20% under Joe Biden.
So, I mean, so all of this rhetoric that we've heard over the last, I don't know, week and a half, basically since day one that Trump got into office, like, oh, the prices haven't went down, they're just going up, all this other stuff. Not a single number has been released from the Trump administration's actions in regards to the economical, stratosphere, whatever you want to call it.
You're not going to get an accurate number.
At least for a quarter, at least.
You're
right.
Like it's been 25 days, 26 days. It's been barely a month. You're not going to get an accurate number or an accurate representation of the progress, whether it be negative or positive.
It's not even.
I'll call it out. I will call it out.
We're exactly what? We're exactly 1 month to the day from when he was inaugurated. There's 21 days as of today. And they're out here claiming that the egg prices and all this other stuff is from Donald Trump and his administration. And see, we told you guys fell for it again. But in all reality, not a single number you're looking at is from this administration.
No. It's not even going to be accurate even if you give them a quarter. It takes time to see the numbers change. But as far as misinformation goes, it's not just Congress. We got people on X and TikTok that are making wild claims about the SAVE Act, which you and I have both done videos on. This lady, which I made a video on TikTok, she said the SAVE Act, if it's passed and signed into law, it'll basically get rid of women's rights to voting. That's nowhere in the bill. The bill is 26 pages.
It makes me wonder where these guys come up with this information, honestly. Like, where do you pull this from?
Like, majority of that bill is providing accurate forms of identification, accurate pathways to register to vote so that only United States citizens are voting. And it's right there on page 2, 3, 4, and 5 as far as what acceptable forms of ID are allowed.
Right. And even further, right past that particular point where they give you the laundry list of items that you can use to verify your citizenship, it says that they're going to create a database for those that don't have it by chance. So that way it's all in an actual database. So you really don't even need the information.
Mm-hmm.
But yet we have congressional members out here, right? People in Congress perpetuating these lies on a daily basis, so much so that you're just starting to see them come out and say the silent part out loud, just like Representative Presley here recently. Take a look at this.
Let me tell you something. I'll take a bit of umbrage here. I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress.
Hold up, play this again.
Serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress. But they are not serious. Look,
I mean, huh? We've been saying this for years now. And they're just blatantly out here saying we are literally trying to find people to work with to censor the American people. This isn't taken out of context. You can Google the full speech that she has. The whole thing is around it. I only clipped that particular area because that's where she blatantly just came out and said it.
And we've already told you that there was over $2 million out of the Festivus report and $330,000 that Doge has uncovered, where the federal government literally spent money, millions of dollars, to censor guys like me and Nate.
And here we are.
Just conservative social media influencers, conservative podcast creators, like dudes that the American government is literally censoring regular people who hold a 9 to 5 that take time out of the day just to give you accurate information.
And here we are again, we talking about even big tech media companies, like social media companies. We've known that they've been censoring, right? And they've denied it up until recently when Mark Zuckerberg confirmed that it happened on the Joe Rogan podcast a couple weeks back. But what he didn't tell you is he tried to claim that they were being told to do it by the Biden administration. Well, we now know and have proof they were paid to do it. So it wasn't like, we didn't have, he tried to make it sound like they were forced by the government to do these things. No. They were compensated. And that's where we get into this whole realm of how deep is big tech and the government and everything in regards to like the pockets of congressional members and whatnot. I mean, we got people out here that are absolute dinosaurs that are and I'll continue to say this on every single podcast. We've got people out here that are absolute dinosaurs falling apart in front of us physically and mentally. And it seems like it's becoming contagious, Mike, because, I mean, everybody knows about Mitch McConnell. We know about, the drunkard, Nancy Pelosi. She's taken a few spills lately. And now we've got another congressional member. And his name evades me right now. But, like, watch this. This is live.
The Republican side in the House and Senate, who control both the House and Senate, is going to speak up and challenge us.
Hello?
Sorry, the dial-up's kicking in.
But we need to protect Americans' privacy and their social security.
These are our representatives, guys.
And
These are the people that you're electing into Congress.
And I know Heather Case says term limits. When you actually go into the Constitution, term limits are technically unconstitutional on all fronts, whether it be the legislative, the executive, or the judicial. There should not be term limits because we, the American people, hold the power to put these people in office. So if somebody's doing a good job, then we, the people, should keep them in that position as long as, it is a fair and true and honest election.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully, and I used to be one of those individuals that would say, I don't believe in, I believe fully in term limits because of these things. But at the same time, I understand why people hold that power, but it is unconstitutional at the same time because it eliminates the ability for you to choose who you want as your representative. However, we just witnessed there on the left, because he's a Democratic House of Representative, and then you got those on the right, like Mitch McConnell. You got dummies voting for these freaking dinosaurs who are mentally incapable of doing anything in their job. That's why it's astounding to me to really see it's a part of understanding what you're voting for, not just it seems like people are just not paying attention who they're voting for. They're just looking to see if whether or not they have a D or an R next to their name.
What was that woman that you just brought up about censoring the American people?
That was
Ayanna Pressley.
Presley, yep.
So censoring the American people. There's a country right now that's going through that. Actually, German officials on a 60-minute interview state that it is a crime to insult somebody online and to repost information that isn't true. German police arrest a man for posting a meme. I'm going to show you all this real quick. Let's see. How do I do this again?
Sounds like Germany is taking the stance of the UK now.
Oh, man. It's wild.
And here we are. I mean, if we're not careful, we're going to get to that point, just like the UK, in saying it doesn't matter.
Y'all seeing this?
It's loading right now.
You got this, Nate?
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Story will continue in a moment. It's 6:01 on a Tuesday morning, and we were with state police as they raided this apartment in northwest Germany. Inside, 6 armed officers searched a suspect's home, then seized his laptop and cell phone. Prosecutors say those electronics may have been used to commit a crime. The crime, posting a racist cartoon online.
And see, you have people out here, and I've had them in my lives when I'm on TikTok, sitting here and saying, "Oh, we're not the only country with freedom." Yes, we absolutely are. I mean, we are out here fighting, or compared to countries that are literally putting people in jail for memes. Like, I don't know specifically what that one was, but it was a meme. But then also in all of the UK, you can you say anything that offends somebody, you're doing jail time now.
Also, so in that clip, there's 50 other raids. In Scotland, I believe, you can get in trouble if you are caught praying in your home.
Praying to anybody in general?
Praying
Doesn't matter what the religion
praying to God,
is,
praying
huh?
to Jesus, praying to Allah, praying to Queen Victoria.
You don't even have a religious freedom in Scotland.
Like,
That's crazy.
we are the only country that has freedom, and Germany has a history of going into people's homes, just saying that they committed a crime. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
it's only
But here we are. We have to combat these yahoos here that have never been outside of this country, and for some reason don't have access to, like, VPNs or something to see the media outside of America. I mean, we've got friends from Australia and all that, and always continuously telling in their TikToks that you Americans have no idea what's going on outside of your walls. I mean, in all reality, that is the truth. Because y'all sit here until you're blue in the face to say, "Oh, we're not. America was never great. We were never free." But yeah, we're not going to jail just because we offended somebody.
Like, can can you imagine if we had the laws that Germany has? How many
Oh, God.
comedians would be locked up?
Dude,
That's just one demographic.
I mean, the comedians alone. I mean, there would be no comedy in this country.
You and I would be thrown in prison, locked, and the kid be thrown away.
The day I turned 18, I'm going to jail. But in all reality, you got, like, I watch these comedians on TikTok with with their stand-ups and stuff, and the stuff they be saying is like, yo,
Andrew Schultz.
I mean, there's a number of them, honestly, and it doesn't matter the demographic either.
Matt Rife.
Man, you get into those underground comics that I've been watching.
Williams.
Cat Williams.
There's
19
actually
charges, but no convictions.
I think it was last week over the weekend. He actually had it out with one of his crowd members. Because,
Yeah, it was about like 2 weeks ago, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because the guy
And
was
she
sitting
was like,
there like,
dude was like,
go
"This
ahead.
is Mexico," and Cat Williams, "Nah, motherfucker, it's Phoenix."
It's like, and that's a whole nother thing. You got people, I've been seeing them as of lately, sitting here talking about, Viva la Mexico, we love you, ooh, and all this other stuff, having parades and flying the flag. I was trying to find an image here, but it's funny to me to see these individuals in America saying, "Oh, we love this country, we love Mexico." Then why the hell you ain't lived there? Why are you here?
Facts.
I mean, you talk it up like it's a phenomenal place to live. It's a great place to, to raise a family. I mean, that's how you make it appear, at least. But yeah, you don't live there. You have to ask the question of how great really is it in comparison to the United States when you're sitting there trashing the United States, trashing everything that we stand for, but yet you want to come here and benefit from everything that we got.
Yep.
I don't understand that logic.
When people legally immigrate here, majority of those that legally immigrate here, I don't see them waving their home country flags.
Absolutely not. They at every what do you call them, where they become a citizen graduation or whatever, you see them flying the American flag. And
Yeah.
honestly, this meme that I don't know if it's even a meme. It looked like it's a meme. Somebody altered it, but it just tells the story of how I feel. Like, no
Oh,
one loves Mexico like the people who refuse to live there.
yep.
You got to ask yourself, why are you here?
hmm
It's a mystery I'll never have an answer to, because all they're going to do
Um,
is skirt around it.
there's I've been on a couple lives where people have been just outraged over Elon Musk and Doge, and saying that Elon's not qualified. E- Elon is the one cutting all this spending. It's like, y'all don't know how to read. Y'all don't know what actually he has. So Elon Musk has a top secret clearance, which goes back 10 years into your history. It does a deep dive into all of your history, financial,
Mm.
personal, whatnot. Um, I've had a couple different clearances. So, and the processes of every security clearance, whether it be secret or top secret, is essentially the same. It just depends on how far back they look. Now, it is a deep, we'll say, invasion of your personal life, but it's necessary, especially for what Elon's doing. And he passed it. He's got a top secret clearance.
hmm
And as far as the information that he's uncovering, he only has a read only.
And the thing about it is, I was just in a live earlier today arguing with individuals about Doge. I was like, "You guys do," because somebody said, "Oh, how are you gonna trust an imaginary federal agency?" I was like, "It's not imaginary. It literally was coined as an official government agency as of January 20th, 2025, by executive order, which over half the agencies that we have were created by in the exact same fashion." They
Yeah,
didn't believe me, so I had to pull up the executive order showing it.
yeah. USAID was created by who?
Clinton.
Um,
Or
no, the
the
original
original
U.
was JFK
Yeah, by
yeah,
executive order,
by executive order. And
and
then everybody want to refer to the foreign
yeah,
what's that called? The Foreign Aid Act or whatever. And the thing is they don't realize, first of all, that was vetoed. Y'all don't realize that.
by
It
Clinton.
didn't become public law until 1995. It was public law 1110 or 110-21, which
Uh,
isn't the same as a bill, just so y'all know.
but some things that Doge is saving us money on, I'm sorry, that they have highlighted
Yeah.
and made us aware of, because they are providing pinpoint transparency and accuracy. Doge has made us aware of $10 million being spent for Mozambique voluntary medical male circumcision. $9.7 million for UC Berkeley to develop a cohort of Cambodian youth with enterprise-driven skills. I don't know what that means, but that's almost $10 million going to non-Americans.
Yep.
Let's
And
see.
and a lot of people aren't understanding how these things work. He's acting as in an advisor capacity, referring it to the president, who then refers it to Congress, and then they put forth legislation to make the change. A lot of people are talking about, like, they are starting to do it based off of what they've received, right? So as of Wednesday of this past week, Republicans introduced a budget resolution which did the exact it's starting to reduce these. And I want to go through it because honestly, a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about this budget resolution, because I'm hearing a lot of them claim that it's removing Medicare, Medicaid, and SSI limits, right?
Oh,
Or reducing them.
hey, Nate, remind me to bring up Houston after we're done with this one.
Houston, yep. So taking a look at this, if you even do a deep dive into this, it's only, I don't know, can you see this up here, the find? Let me see here. No, you can't. Okay. So right there, it's highlighted in the middle page, but when you do a Control F on this, Medicare is mentioned one singular time in this entire $45 document. And what is it? It's the budgetary list where they are actually going to allot money to it, right? New budget authority, outlies, and things of that nature. What this is it's an area in which they haven't filled, because once it gets to the Committee of Ways and Means, they'll allocate the funding as a budgetary outline, and then it'll go to the House floor and they'll make any adjustments from there. But it shows right here, they've made and created a specific line for Medicare to be in it. Medicaid isn't in it, but this underlines all of it. When it comes to the budget, it's right there. This is the only portion in which it talks about Medicare, and it's for them to fill in the blank of how much they're going to allot to it. So no, they're not removing it. And you can go through this entire thing. It's 45 pages, but 34 pages of it is literally just the budgetary outline. You don't even get to any kind of verbiage until page 34. So there's 11 pages where it allots any kind of or describes any kind of reduction. And in these, it's talking about the Committee of Agriculture reducing it by 230 million. We have the Armed Forces. It's actually increasing Armed Forces budget $100 billion. So for those that are crying about, it also taking away VA benefits and things of that nature, that's false. This particular and very specifically increases it by $100 billion. Now, if you're not familiar, the Committee of Armed Services is the committee that allots money for the VA and veteran benefits. So if they're increasing this, they're clearly not taking away from them. So you can stop with that garbage. But all throughout here, you got $888 billion. You have to reduce here of $1 billion. You got a reduction here, or that's an increase, but we got another one I skipped up here for the education and workforce, decreasing it by $330 billion. So the allotments now, how these are being, what areas they're specifically reducing them from, is coming from what Doge and what the Fastidious, I always have a problem saying that, report that came out from Senator Rand Paul. That's where this is at. Now, in these individual committees, they'll determine where those specific areas will be reduced, right? So they can only take recommendations from Doge or other individuals like the president. And then now they have to do their job in regards to taking those under considerations and getting rid of the wasteful spending. Now, I know I'm talking a lot here, Mike, but I really want to go into this particular part because a lot of people came at me in my video that I had created about this in regards to this particular area of the Committee on Ways and Means, because it's increasing the deficit by $4.5 trillion. See, and they thought that this was some kind of gotcha moment, right? The statutory debt limit of $4 billion, what y'all don't understand about this is that this is for already borrowed money, right? It's like if you have a home loan you have a car note, you have all of these loans that you have. You can think of it in the same concept. Unless you pay your bills, you can't attack your overhead the overall debt until you, first of all, don't default on your bills, because that's only going to create issues. And from an aspect of America, if you default on your loans, or America defaults on their loans, you're going to see interest rates skyrocketing. You're going to see pricing skyrocket. There's a plethora of issues if America defaults on their loans. So what this does is it allows us to increase the debt limit temporarily to make sure we don't default. Then simultaneously, they have to eliminate all of this spending. In the Festivus report alone, it's $1 trillion, over $1 trillion. Doge is showing that there's what, 2 trillion or something like that. So that in itself already almost takes care of the deficit, but it's not going to stop there. It's a very basic concept of debt to income ratio is what we're talking about right here. See, America has been spending in the red for decades, basically, right? So that's why we just hit $37 trillion in debt. So until we can get our bills paid, first of all, so we don't default and exacerbate all the issues that we have with inflation and pricing, and eliminate the wasteful spending, we're never going to get anywhere.
Yep.
That's what's happening here.
Which is why since 2001, Congress has never done their job and readdressed the budget. They've only done continuing resolutions, which allows us to default on our loans, which allows the interest rates to rise, which allows you and I to pay more money in taxes to try to pay back the interest, because they have done nothing for the principal.
I mean, think about this. If you didn't, Mike, if you didn't do your job even for 1 week,
wouldn't take a
you
week.
think your boss would take notice of that and kick you out?
A week. If I didn't do my job, I live in a very I work in a very liberal institution. I could be fired in a day's time.
But think about this. Was it 24 years Congress hasn't done their job? Because they haven't set forth a balanced budget since 2001.
Now all this wasteful spending is being brought to the surface, being spotlighted by a man that has taken no paycheck, by a man that has taken no incentives other than giving the American people transparency. The dude's the richest person on the planet. People are like, oh, he doesn't have the right to have my social security number. But
You're
the
right.
IRS does. Who steals from you?
Right? And he's trying to audit for you.
Elon's auditing them for you.
Right?
Like,
And then
we fought a revolution over taxes. Why are y'all so stuck on, the government taxing us?
And then you got them out here also perpetuating more lies about this whole EV, armored EV contract, a governmental contract that they have with saying that, oh, see, he's already benefiting from working with the government. Like, you idiots don't understand that those contracts were given to him back in December, which took months to draft up. So it was prior to that he was even granted the contract itself. Who was the president then, Mike?
Oh, Joseph Robinette Biden.
Oh, no. But you know what? Even the Republicans, I don't even hear Republicans talking about this part, because I don't think they even know this. Not only was it Joe Biden that gave it to him, right? Donald Trump removed it from him and put it back out to market to be bidded on.
Yep.
Nobody's talking about that.
Nope.
But yet they want to blame the Trump administration for helping his buddies out.
Yeah, and a lot of people are crying over Donald Trump, making an appearance, doing a lap in Air Force One, over the NASCAR race, and then doing a pacing lap in his motorcade. Why are y'all so worried about that? Y'all didn't give a shit when it came to Joe Biden lying on his neck on a beach for a majority of his presidency.
And the thing about it is, like, not even in connection to that, right? This man is not taking his $465,000 salary. So you could sit here and tell me until you're blue in the face, oh, he's stealing from the taxpayers by doing this. No, we're not. Because what is it? It's like it's over $2 million that he'll supposedly make with that salary. Well, nearly 2 million, I should say, over the next 4 years with that salary. He's not. That's going towards it. We're good.
We Gucci.
I mean, they don't see the irony in the things that they say or the hypocrisy, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's astounding to me that these people are just eligible to vote, man.
So I really wanted to bring this to your attention,
Yeah.
maybe, especially since we do business in Houston, Texas. Um, Apparently, a news station out of Houston, Texas, is portraying GOP members as Nazis because these GOP members, under the direction of Greg Abbott, removed pornographic books from school libraries.
That sounds about like Harris County. That
Like,
sounds about like.
what do your school what do school children need to learn about sexuality?
Look, Harris County as a whole, from top to bottom, is absolute garbage. Everything about them is California. Like people talk about Austin, right? Everybody knows Austin here in Texas. It's mini California, right? We don't even consider it Texas here. But nobody talks about how bad Houston is. Houston, in my opinion, based off the information that I get on a daily basis, because I'm in the county right next to them, so I have a lot of collaboration with people in politics that talk. Even our show where I do our radio show on Saturdays is in Houston, so I talk with a lot of people there. It's bad. I mean, you got judges, you've got tax collectors, you've got sheriffs that have federal indictments on them. It's crazy here. And you know what's crazy? In my county, which is Fort Bend County, which is right next to they're right next to each other, the sheriff and the city tax assessor here were just reelected while having federal was it so she had the tax collector, right? The one that works with your finances has a federal finance crime on her, and it has to do with falsifying, I believe, something to do with her bankruptcy. So falsifying bank records and things of that nature in regards to a bankruptcy she's going through. And this is somebody that literally works with your money. And then you have the sheriff, the one in charge of executing the law here in our county, who is a constitutionally appointed individual. So it's not like it's the police. This is the damn sheriff. Has federal charges on him as well. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, I don't know what's worse, your county or my county, Maricopa.
Man, I mean,
with the past week, past couple weeks, there was that 50 protest, 50 states, 50 nights or whatever protest. So I work with police every day. Every day I go to work. So I work 4 days a week, 10-hour shifts. I work with police every day, and I was just talking with them, and kind of getting the atmosphere of the protest, and they said it was wild. Talking mountains of pepper balls being lodged at these individuals because they were getting violent.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it. And I mean, in all reality, I know that you say you don't know which one is worse. My county, your county. But I mean, the only reason why your county is brought to light is because you're a swing state, so it goes back and forth. So you're in the spotlight. See, if Texas was more of a swing state, you would absolutely hear about the corruption here in Houston. Like the only votes that they get for any kind of Democrat here comes out of Houston, Austin, Dallas, and San Antonio. That's it. Why? Because those are the hubs of some of the largest fraudulent voting schemes that you'll find in America.
Yeah, you'll find the same shit in Maricopa County alone. Maricopa County alone. That, and goes to add on to that, Katie Hobbs, my governor, apparently may or may not have lost $330 million of taxpayer money. Just gone. It's gone. Don't know where it went.
Pentagon.
So it's like, what is going on with these individuals?
I don't know. And I mean, then you got congressional members that are probably going to be brought up on federal charges as well. You got AOC out here aiding and abetting illegal immigrants. So it was rumored for the last week or so after that video went viral of her literally showing people how to evade ICE and evade getting arrested. Went absolutely viral all over the place. and there's a website or something that she's showing people where there's instructions on how to do it, Tom Homan has officially spoken to the DOJ to seek an investigation on her.
Mm-hmm.
And because of this, I mean, we all saw it. There's no investigation needed. Honestly, she should be recused from her seat or removed. Honestly,
100%.
treason.
Also, Marjorie Taylor Greene called to remove Ilhan Omar,
No,
disqualify
she
her,
did it. She didn't
and
call. They did it.
and basically for being in alliance with Somalia, not the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of good things that are happening, and just that, in such a short amount of time, the Democrats are imploding.
And you know what's even funnier is that the whole rumor a couple of years back about Ilhan Omar having married her brother, that's resurfaced as of the last week, right? Saying that there's close family individuals or close friends of the family that are confirming the reports that she committed immigration fraud by marrying her brother and allowing them to get papers here, because she was only married to that individual for 1 year, if you saw it,
hmm
which is long enough just to get your green card.
Which is the requirement.
Mm, fishy. But,
And
you know,
you might as well just look into the entire squad, which Ilhan Omar and AOC and Rashida Tlaib
Presley,
and Ayanna Presley, they're all part of the squad.
and we've already mentioned 3 of them. The 3 that, that you got Presley talking about censoring the American people openly and outly. Yeah, AOC, aiding and abetting illegal immigrants, was a federal crime of 8 U.S.C. 1325. And then you got Ilhan Omar out here literally having proof and documentation that she's aligning with a foreign country, aiding in regards to sending funding to them as well. There's some information on that. And resurfaced allegations of her committing immigration fraud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go after Tlaib this next week because she comes from Michigan.
And there's I don't know what possesses people to make videos online of threatening to assassinate the president,
Oh, Lord.
but they're just coming out of the woodwork left and right. Like there's going to be no repercussions.
And it's not
It
even
is
just
a
like, I know
crime.
what video you're talking about, Mike. It's not even just Donald Trump this time. It's also that video included Elon Musk.
Yeah, I'm gonna see.
It's crazy. We would show it on here, but I don't want TikTok. I don't want not TikTok, YouTube to take us down, because he's literally, you got a guy out here literally saying, "Take one for the team,"
Mm-hmm.
and get rid of these individuals. Like, first of all, why are you so much a bitch you can't do it yourself? I'm just call you out on that. And then second of all, like how in what world is it okay to call for the assassination of anyone? That is absolutely insane to me that people are allowed to do. And this ties back to what we were just talking about. This man will see no charges, no repercussions for this. But yeah, if I'm telling you right now, you do that in another country, you're going to jail. Like, they're out here over in UK going to jail just for saying they don't agree with something on social media. But this man's calling for the assassination of the actual president and an official advisor to the president. They ain't gonna see nothing. That's crazy. But just so y'all know, we do these shows every Monday, and we bring you guys the latest news on what's going on throughout the week. And then also on Sunday or Saturdays at 12 Central Time, we go live on 99.5 Radio Da Bang here in Houston. They do have a Facebook page, so it's Radio Da Bang, DABANG. Da Bang is one word. Go follow them on there, and then you also follow us on here if you guys are not, following us now, and you guys will get the latest updates. But connect with us. And Mike, if you don't have anything else, take us home, brother.
No, I was trying to find that video, but Google's being weird.
I don't want to play it on here, honestly, man. What's the TikTok name? I'll call him out by name. What's the TikTok name again? I think I took a screenshot of it.
It's the other Earl.
Yeah. I've got a.
I made a video on it. Everybody should make a video on it. And
here's the video. That's what it looks like.
So
This
everybody,
is his.
he's got over
Oh,
100,000 followers on TikTok.
I can't really.
Probably a significant following on Instagram. But everybody should go watch that video. But we're gonna wrap it up now. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to follow the greatest podcast in America, and tune in Monday 7 p.m. Central Time and Saturday at 12 p.m. Central Time, so you can listen to me and Nate talk about everything that is important and everything that you love and care about, and saving y'all money. And be sure to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, and Patreon. And we love you. Stay tuned until next time. God bless.